Imagine a city floating on water, without rivers or streams to provide fresh water. A place where thousands have lived for centuries, facing a massive challenge: access to clean water. How did they solve this problem? And more importantly, how did they manage waste in an era without modern sewage systems? Today, we uncover the secrets that have allowed Venice to survive and thrive for over 1,000 years. The big challenge: a city without rivers. Venice is unique in many ways, but one of its biggest challenges is the lack of natural freshwater sources. Unlike Paris, which has the Seine, or London, which has the Thames, Venice relied entirely on collecting rainwater and transporting fresh water from the mainland. At first, clean water was transported by boat from the mainland, but as the population grew, this became unsustainable. So the Venetians devised a groundbreaking solution, turning the very ground beneath their feet into a giant filtration system. The genius solution: Venice's rainwater collection system. The Venetians transformed public squares into an advanced rainwater collection system. Imagine, every time it rained, the water wouldn't go to waste, but instead seeped through layers of earth and stone, naturally filtering before entering massive underground reservoirs. Here's how it worked. Engineers dug deep reservoirs beneath the squares. The walls of the reservoirs were lined with thick clay to prevent leaks. Layers of sand and stone acted as natural filters. The square surface was paved with slanted bricks leading to small drains. Rainwater flowed through these drains, got filtered, and was stored underground. Thanks to this system, Venice had more than 600 wells, providing clean water to its residents for centuries. Waste management, another challenge. Imagine living in Venice in the 14th century. Your house is right next to a canal, and the narrow alleys leave no room for modern sewage systems. Without a proper way to dispose of waste, the city could quickly turn into a public health nightmare. At first, Venetians used a very primitive method. They simply threw waste out of their windows, hoping that the tide would wash it away. Some households used buckets to collect waste, but most still dumped it directly onto the streets or into the canals. During summer, when water levels dropped and temperatures rose, the stench from decomposing waste became unbearable. Rats and insects carrying diseases thrived in these conditions. The Black Death, which devastated Europe in the 14th century, was partly fueled by poor sanitation like this. Recognizing the growing problem, Venetian authorities began enforcing strict regulations on waste disposal. Families were prohibited from dumping garbage directly into the canals. Instead, they were required to use storage containers and hire waste collectors. But even this was not enough. A more comprehensive solution was needed: a sophisticated underground drainage system that took advantage of Venice's most powerful natural force, the tide. The Sewage Revolution. In the 16th century, Venice introduced a revolutionary underground drainage system that was far more advanced than those in other European cities at the time. Here's how it worked. Each building was connected to a network of underground tunnels. Instead of dumping waste directly onto the streets, homes had pipes leading to an underground waste collection system. These tunnels funneled waste into smaller canals. The waste wasn't stored, but was gradually directed toward the larger waterways. Twice a day, the tides flushed the city clean. As the sea level rose, water rushed into the canals, pushing waste out of the city and carrying it away with the natural currents. When the tide receded, fresh seawater replaced the dirty water in the canals. The high salinity of seawater acted as a natural disinfectant. Due to its high salt content, seawater helped kill bacteria and reduce the spread of diseases. This system was remarkably effective and helped keep Venice much cleaner than most medieval European cities. While places like Paris and London were still drowning in waste and polluted rivers, Venice had a natural mechanism that kept its streets and waterways relatively sanitary. However, this system had its drawbacks. On days when the tide was low or during prolonged dry periods, waste wouldn't be flushed away immediately, leading to temporary local pollution. That's why Venetians didn't rely solely on nature, but also developed additional waste management strategies, such as using centralized storage bins and employing sanitation workers to regularly clean the canals. Today, Venice has a more modern sewage system, But the principle of using the tide to clean the city still influences its waste management practices. This serves as a reminder that humans can work with nature rather than against it. Lessons from Venice for today's world. Venice is not just a city of canals and romantic gondolas. It's a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. More than 1,000 years ago, Venetians solved challenges that many modern cities are still grappling with today. Let's take a look at the realities we face. Water crisis. Many major cities around the world are running out of fresh water. Rapid urbanization, climate change, and over-extraction of groundwater are depleting this precious resource. Yet centuries ago, Venetians developed a rainwater collection system that sustained their city. Could we apply similar approaches to make cities more self-sufficient in water management? Smart waste management. Even with modern sewage treatment plants, many cities struggle to handle wastewater efficiently. While contemporary systems often require high energy consumption and maintenance costs, Venice leveraged natural tides to cleanse its waterways. Coastal cities today could take inspiration from this and design more sustainable drainage and waste disposal systems. Working with nature instead of against it, many modern cities try to control or resist nature rather than harmonizing with it. The Venetians understood that instead of fighting the tides, they could use them to keep the city clean. Today, with advances in technology, we can combine such ancient wisdom with modern science to create more effective and eco-friendly water management systems. Beyond just water and waste management, Venice teaches us valuable lessons in various aspects of urban planning. Adaptive urban design. Venice was built to coexist with its environment rather than resisting it. Modern cities could adopt similar principles in designing flood-resistant infrastructure, sustainable transport networks, and resilient living spaces. Sustainable development. As natural resources become scarcer, optimizing available resources is more crucial than ever. Venice's rainwater collection and waste disposal systems show how a city can thrive for centuries without depleting its surroundings. Innovation through adversity. Venice had no rivers, no fertile land, and yet it found a way to not only survive but flourish. This is a powerful reminder that challenges should not be seen as obstacles, but as catalysts for creative solutions. So what can we learn from Venice? Can modern cities integrate centuries-old wisdom with cutting-edge technology to build a more sustainable future? Imagine a world where buildings collect and purify their own rainwater, where drainage systems work with natural forces rather than causing floods, and where resources are used efficiently rather than wasted, just as the Venetians mastered long ago. Perhaps to build the cities of the future, we must look back at the cities of the past. Beyond just water and waste management, Venice teaches us valuable lessons in various aspects of urban planning. Adaptive urban design. Venice was built to coexist with its environment rather than resisting it. Modern cities could adopt similar principles in designing flood-resistant infrastructure, sustainable transport networks, and resilient living spaces. Sustainable development. As natural resources become scarcer, optimizing available resources is more crucial than ever. Venice's rainwater collection and waste disposal systems show how a city can thrive for centuries without depleting its surroundings. Innovation through adversity. Venice had no rivers, no fertile land, and yet it found a way to not only survive, but flourish. This is a powerful reminder that challenges should not be seen as obstacles, but as catalysts for creative solutions. So, what can we learn from Venice? Can modern cities integrate centuries-old wisdom with cutting-edge technology to build a more sustainable future? Imagine a world where buildings collect and purify their own rainwater, where drainage systems work with natural forces rather than causing floods, and where resources are used efficiently rather than wasted, just as the Venetians mastered long ago. Perhaps to build the cities of the future, we must look back at the cities of the past.
Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like to support the channel, share to let your friends discover it, and subscribe so you won't miss more fascinating stories about history and engineering.